Hi everyone. It's great to be here and great to meet you. I've been kind of following this work from afar, and I'm really appreciative of all the conversations that have happened and how we've kind of gotten to today and the ideas that are being generated for building and deploying tools that can be useful and additive to the great work that you're already doing. Um, Shannon, can you just give me a thumbs up that you can see my screen? We're all good. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to talk about a tool, Ladder. Just to give you a little bit of background of this tool, it's a tool that we initially started building with the Feeding America network because they had a question of how could they understand and collaborate across their many service providers of where programs were occurring, what programs were occurring, and what was the context that they were putting those programs in place in. And so we wanted to build a tool that had a significant amount of high quality public data brought in to be made available. I'm also realizing I think I'm sharing my entire screen, not just my uh, just the view. So let me just reshare that. There we go. We wanted to bring together significant amounts of public data that were high quality, vetted at multiple geographic levels. We initially selected the census tract, zip code, and county levels. We are actually in active development to add legislative boundaries, both at the federal and state levels. And from multiple sources. So the Census Bureau was mentioned previously. We do have a significant amount of data from the American Community Survey, but also additional sources like the CDC, Feeding America's Map the Meal Gap, a couple of other sources around economic opportunity. So ultimately, right now we have 11 data sources with 49 different indicators, and that's about 6 million rows of data within this that are all publicly available down to that census tract level, and then have the ability to include your own data. So I'm going to talk through a couple of slides and then actually show you the tool, but because I just mentioned your own data, really do want to emphasize just 2 slides here about data security and kind of why this is important. So DataKind is the owner and the steward of this tool, Ladder. But you, any individual who is a user of this tool, you are the owner of your uploaded data. So any individual using this, you can upload your own data for analysis. You are the only one who can access that data unless you make a decision to share it to another team member, and you can form a team for sharing. And this data, we follow secure by design principles. The data is actually encrypted at rest, which means we can't even go and directly query the data out of our data system for you. It is encrypted in storage. So I say all that to emphasize how we are building this tool with the intent of ensuring that it is useful for understanding the many data sources that could exist and are currently hard to pull together and significantly time consuming to pull together, alongside the valuable programmatic data that are collected by individual agencies and institutions. I'll just quickly flag some data guidance. This is all also through the site, but you should use data you feel comfortable with. Some general guidelines are removing personally identifiable information and protected health information where possible. If that is not needed for your analysis, it should not be included. Only use data required for your own analysis. Ensure you have the rights to using that data. Taking a look at it before, after you upload it, before you share it, making sure you're only sharing to team members who should need to see it. And then I'll just emphasize, we have a really robust data issue reporting process. So should you find that you have done something that you need assistance with. That's just a quick mention of this. Has teaming function, has the ability to upload data that you are in control of that. So what does this actually mean as a tool? So I will actually start from a logged out point here, just so you can see that. So this is the home page of the ladder tool. Oh, there's a chat popping in. Oh, someone's popping off. Okay, well, we're recorded. So homepage here, you can sign up directly. It's ladderhub.org, or you can sign in. When you sign in, you have the option to sign in with a typed in email or password, or use single sign in using your Google or your Microsoft email addresses. So I just clicked to sign in here. So I'm inside the Ladder Hub tool. And when I'm in here, I have the option to look at any of the public data that's already in place. So I can open this up and I have multiple categories that the data exists at. So I have health data, which includes a lot of self-reported health information from the CDC. I have housing data, which includes things like self-reported information about reliable transportation, utility services, uh, perceptions of housing insecurity, and then quite a lot of nutrition data, and then information on a population, which includes a lot of economic indicators, including households and poverty status. So those are our public data sources. You can click on any layer and it will populate into the map itself. You can use location services for this. So I'll just say, yes, I'm going to allow this for this. And I'm based in Orlando, Florida. And this is showing you now in my location at the county level, so Orange County, we are seeing that the county adults are reporting a COPD rate of 6.2% of adults in Orange County are have this diagnosis. That's just a quick showcase of the public data. I will say you can add as many layers as you want. So if I added, say, the second layer, so I'm going to look at both COPD and heart disease, I will get a 2x2 matrix here. So I'll see this coloration. It's that will show the intersection of those two variables. So looking at the state of Florida by a county, I can see that, say, this county, which is Highlands County, down in closer to South Florida, has a fairly high rate of occurrence for both of those diseases. So, and again, you could keep adding layers. Once you add up to 3, you start to have a calculated index between 0 and 1 of the relative coverage of those. So we start to see that there are counties that have a higher instance of all of the selected indicators showing up in the map. That is what the public data tool looks like. And again, I did the county just for sort of ease. You have this at the zip code and the census tract level as well. Now, to kind of go forward with how might we use this with public data and private data, you have this in the slides, but coming up with a research question. So because most of you are in the LA area, or at least some of you, I'll do an example at the zip code 9012. I'm going to do my analysis at the census tract level, and I'm going to look at this around housing, and I'll just for kind of speed, because I know we have about 20 minutes of the call left. I'll do it around current sort of available Section 8 housing and some overlapping indicators around that as an example. So where I will start is I will go to upload data. So if I click on this upload button here, I have the option to drag and drop data in, or I can just click upload and I can pull my data. So I have just a pre-prepared data here on Section 8 housing available in that zip code, the 9012. And when I click to upload it, this is a pretty small data set. I think it's just like 20 rows because it was the addresses that had available housing today. And I have the option when I upload my data to either make a new indicator, which means it would be a new measure in my tool, or if I say had previously built a list of Section 8 housing that was available, I could just add to that. And if I were to add to my previous indicator, it would look for any duplicates in the data set and only upload the new records to my existing indicator. So if I click add new indicator, I have the option here. Oh, and I see there's another chat popping in. I have the option to upload not just at the county zip code or census tract level, but also the individual address level. So I'm going to do that because I have individual addresses and you have this quick preview of what your data looks like. I have to type in my data source. So this is from LA County. The year, it's from 2025. It's actually from today. And then I have to map from which of these columns match to what pieces of the address. So I need a site name. I'm just going to use the ID as my site name. I need the street. So I have my street address. I have my city, which is my city. I have my state, and I have my zip code. And now I have to name the indicator. So this is available housing. And I have to decide what it is. So at this point, I could say I'm just looking for the locations, which is what I'm doing, just location only. I want the points. But say I had a count of number of apartments available at any given spot, I might click that as my value of apartment count. And then I would have relatively sized points show up on my map to show how many, a variation in, say, amount of availability. But in this case, I'm just going to do none, location only, and then I need to decide where I'm going to put this. And I'll just put it in other just to make it easy to see. And at this point, I don't really have any other notes, but if I had more notes like a phone number to call or something, I could use that. And I'm going to run validation. And what this does, so we geocode against the census geocoder tool, and it'll look at all of the data and say, these are the ones we actually found matches to. So these are, we know these are quality data. We know they exist as locations. We found them. And it'll give you a list of any exceptions. So addresses that you didn't find. So this one, 255 Grand Avenue, wasn't found. So that location, I probably had a typo in it as I put it in, but it gives you a reason. Invalid geography. This wasn't found on a map. It lets me go, gives me a sense for what I should go and investigate further. I'm going to say I'm ready to upload my indicator. So I click that, and then I've got a map. So it says map data created successfully for available housing in 2025 from LA County. If I go to get started, it'll populate here. You can see, okay, they have all shown up on my map. So each of these locations here, there's I had uploaded, I think, 19 of them. 18 of them actually mapped. So you can actually like hover over and you can see what the address is. And they're there. And then say I wanted to ask a question like, okay, I know these are where these Section 8 housing are available. What are the services that someone who is moving in there might also need? So I'm going to look at, say, census tract data, and I'm going to say, I want to know how many SNAP retailers are nearby, because I think that my the constituents that might move here might also need that service. I'm going to say, sure, you can use my location, but I'm going to have to search. So I've turned that on as a layer. I'm going to go back over. So you can search for your location. So since we're using LA, we're going to go back over there. It's going to zoom us in. And I have my amount of SNAP retailers, and I'm going to turn on my available housing. And so now I can actually see from a sort of an analytics perspective, oops, let me just move my mouse away. My available housing, some of them are in an area of high density of, or relatively high density of availability of SNAP retailers. So if I hover over it, I see, okay, there are 12, that's pretty good. But some of them are not, so in this part of town, there's only one retailer who accepts SNAP benefits. And so that it could be that could be a valuable piece of information to know when you're trying to provide comprehensive services to an individual. That's rapid fire, and I could keep going through examples here, but I think I'm just going to pause for a second for questions about sort of mapping and uploading, and then I'll show you a couple of other features about how you build a team and how you share information as well. And I know it's a lot because it's yet another tool and quite a lot of data. So no need for questions if you're simply absorbing right now.
I have a question. If you've already got data that's geocoded and you upload it, what happens?
So we're actually working to enable the feature to upload previously geocoded data. Right now, the upload needs to be either on a with addresses which are geocoded, or you can, if you already have, say, an identified census tract county or zip code that you're aggregated to, you can upload with that identifier.
Oh,
But
thanks.
we currently don't have a latitude longitude upload process. So if that, like, if those are the variables you were looking to upload against.
Got it. Thank you.
So let me tell you, I think, a little bit about sort of the teaming function and the indicators. So the first thing to say is that every person defaults to being a team of one. So you have a profile in Ladder, your name, your email, you can change your password in it. You can set up two-factor authentication. You can log out of other browser sessions, which is really handy if you're like me and you do a lot of demos of this and you forget to log out of other people's computers. But then you have the ability to you start with a team of one. It defaults to being your name. So my default team was Caitlin's team. And then I got added to other teams. So I got added to Second Harvest Food Bank's team. I could leave the team. I created another team to do a demo that was just for teaming. I created another team for some volunteer work I do in Central Florida with a different email address, and I could leave that team again. I also have the option to delete an account. When you are, so you have those as teams. Now, when you are in a particular team, um, you can see the uh, information about that team. So you can see, so if I clicked on the team that I was on, so Caitlin's team, and I went to team settings. So this would be different for any team I went to. So I can change the name of my team. And then I can invite anyone I want to be a team member. So let's just see. Sheena and I were talking to our colleague Yash this morning, so I'll just do an example of adding Yash. So I'm going to add Yash from his email address, and I can set a role. So in every team, you have a team owner who can control who joins the team, who uploads the team, and what data gets shared within the team. You have contributors who can add data, and they can request that the team owner share it across the team. And then you have viewers who can only view the data that has been shared with them. So if I just were to invite Yash, I could just send the invite, and then it shows up as a pending invitation, and he will have gotten an email to join that team. As the team owner, I can change people's jobs. So Shayna is on the team with me as a contributor. I can change her role. I can say, you know what, I actually want Shayna to have the same power that I do for this team. I can turn her into a team owner. So now Shayna is also an owner of the team with me. And so this is a helpful way of managing, if you want if you're doing this, say, in a cross-functional team and you want multiple people to be able to add and review materials. Within that team, I can also then go look at the indicators. So if I click on indicators, these are indicators that are only available inside Caitlin's team. So I've done a lot of just kind of practice uploads here. And I'll just show you as an example. I did an upload of data that were snap locations, and I shared this data. Now I can, so that means anyone on my team, like Shayna, could log into this account and they would see this data shared with them. But I could also remove that. So I can say, I'm going to revoke the share. So now Shayna couldn't see that. If I were to click share again, then she could see it. I also have the option to delete the data. And I'll just quickly show you, if I go to try to delete data that is shared, it gives me a warning that if I delete this data, it will remove it for the entire team. So it's not just me deleting it for myself, it's for anyone who I have shared that data with. If I were to do that on data that was not shared, it'll just give me a flag that it's an irreversible decision to make. So you can see all of the data that you have uploaded to the team in this indicator view, and then you can share that data if you are the owner. You can request to share if you are a contributor. I think of other, those are really kind of the big components there. You could always go and add a new team. So you could say, I want to create a new team, and then you would just name it. And let me see what else. And so you just quickly, I'll just mention, you've got all this examples and the data sets of what I uploaded inside this file. I'll come back to that. But the teams, why we created teams is because we realized that with a number of design partners in the social impact space, even if there was data maturity and there were data licenses for tools like Policy Map or ArcGIS, few individuals in the institution had those licenses, which made the ability to conduct analysis and share within an institution very challenging, and even harder across institutions when they were trying to work collaboratively. And so we wanted to remove that barrier to collaboration by making a free tool that had that sort of functionality that you typically only get with paid enterprise solutions. I just walked through all this, but again, and you'll have these slides, with a team, you can create a team, you can invite people to join it, you can share and unshare data, you can view data, and you can also leave because you have control of your functions and you can delete your data. Data security flag, again, that your teams can cross organizations, so you need to make sure you have your right data sharing in place for data that you might share outside of your institution. I'll say a couple more things, then probably go back to questions because I see a couple of notes popping in. But just to say, as Shayna mentioned, this is a tool that's in active development. So right now, you have account management, you have public data at 3 geographic levels, you have private data upload at 4 geographic levels, and we just added in the past quarter this team account management and team data sharing. Where we are moving next is being able to save analytic views and to do data exports. Right now, you can export images. So just as a quick example, you can you have this download map button. You would be able to download the image that you make. We're also making it so that you can download the data. We are adding political boundaries in. We are also increasing the public data sets. So to the discussion earlier today, we would love to hear what public data would be useful to you and what would need to happen to make that data useful. So if the data does exist, so if census data does exist, if local government data does exist. What would need to happen to make that useful? Does it need to be cleaned in a certain way to make it trustworthy? Does it need to be disaggregated in a certain way? Does it need to be able to be visualized in a certain way? We'd like to know that because it is pretty easy for us to add additional data, and we are looking to add data based on feedback. We are also adding in new functionality. So we are adding in the functionality that if you upload address data, you can choose to aggregate it. So you could see a count of, say, available housing at a census tract level. And then longer term, so into 2026, we aim to have a developer API, additional analytics. So we are looking to add in sort of basic analytics like correlation analyses, maybe some time series forecasting. And we've been in discussion about how could this connect to other tools like scheduling or outreach services by teams that already do that type of work. How do you integrate, say, with adding the information alongside case management activities? Um, so we have a lot of ambitions for this tool. The final thing I will say is we are really eager for feedback. So on every single page, you have a feedback button. If you were to click it, it will take you to a reporting form. So you'll just kind of give us the information of what is it that you're reporting, and it might be a report that there's an error. It might be oh, I wish you had this thing. Just let us know. And then tell us how high a priority it is. Tell us how you might get to that problem. So if you're experiencing a problem and what you're looking for. And then, kind of any additional information you could give us. Are you doing it on a Safari? Are you trying to do it on a tablet versus a laptop? And then if you can take pictures, please, screenshots, please do so. So please, we read, Shayna and I read all the feedback. We are really eager for it. And we are looking to really expand this tool in ways that are very, exactly aligned to the ambitions of this working group. How do we make a useful tool that makes data accessible and actionable toward the ultimate community outcomes that we're looking to help achieve? All right, with Shayna, I think